Okay, so here we are with the lovely Inna Segal. I'm interviewing Inna today and really wanting to share her expertise on what it means to connect with your body and the importance of that. So, Inna, I'll get you to introduce your fabulous self.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here just to explore this subject because it's been something that I've been working on for so long in terms of really teaching people how to connect with their bodies, how to listen, how to understand all the messages and all the intuitive guidance that they receive. So I'm very excited to share this at any point.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a beautiful work. And everybody, I have in one of Inna's earlier books, The Secret Language of Your Body, and I highly, highly recommend it. It is an awesome book. Great. So I want to start off by asking you, I always find that women who've gone into this particular similar fields usually have a pretty amazing story of how they got into it. It's usually very much tied into their personal journey. So I'd love for you to share what led you to get into working in this way.
For me, it was really being in pain, and I was in pain for a long time, and I got to a point where I had really bad digestive problems. I had psoriasis all over my elbows and my skin. I had back pain where I was constantly seeing someone, and really this kept going on and on and on for years until I got to a point where I I went to see a chiropractor because I literally felt that my back was twisted and I couldn't move, so my body was kind
Yeah.
of half twisted, and I went to see this chiropractor, and on the way to seeing him, basically I could feel every bump in the road, and it was like
Wow.
agony. And when I got to his office, he came out of the office and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, your body's stuck." And I said, "Yeah, I know that. What are you going to do about this? How are you going to help me?" And he was really quiet for a while. And then he said, "There's nothing I can do. Go home." And I was quite shocked at the time
Yeah.
because I thought, "What do you mean? What do you mean my body wants to be stuck? And how can you just send me home?" So on the way home, I was really, really angry. And all of that suppressed energy was rising up, and I felt, I started to explore. And what occurred to me was that I had always believed, because that's how I was brought up, that my body and my health was someone else's responsibility and someone else knew about it more, better, had more wisdom. And I realized that I had spent years going to see people and it wasn't helping, it wasn't changing, nothing was transforming. I would get a little bit better and then I would go backwards. So it was a
Yeah.
constant experience of back and forth and up and down. And I made a decision that I was going to heal myself. And I didn't know how, but that decision was so strong that by the time I got home, I decided I'm just going to improvise and explore. And I had been studying acting for quite a while.
Yeah.
So I started by placing my hands on my back and breathing really slowly and deeply into my body. And as I was doing that, it occurred to me that maybe I should meditate, but I didn't know how to meditate. So I counted backwards from 30. And as I was counting backwards from 30, it occurred to me that maybe there is something divine out there that could help me, because I didn't know how else I was going to heal.
Yeah.
So I actually said, if there is something divine out there, then I want help and I want it now. And I felt this warmth go through my body.
Wow.
And I got to a point where I thought, and I saw gold light. And then I thought, all right, well, something's happening. And then it occurred to me to say, or to think, I want to see into my body. And as I thought that, I started to become aware of my back. It was literally as if the light switch had gone on and I could see my back and I could see every vertebrae and whether it was twisted or not. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't like this dream. But I realized it was a dream. I saw inflammation and I started asking questions because I'm by nature very inquisitive, so I'm always asking and trying to understand. So my first question was, well, okay, so why? Where did this come from? And I started to become aware of emotions that, well, firstly, it was thought patterns and beliefs that I couldn't do what I wanted to do, that I felt hopeless, I felt useless, I felt that I wanted to do acting, but I was in the wrong country, I didn't know how to do it. People constantly told me that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I also felt that there was a lot of rejection, a lot of anger that I was carrying, and huge amount of frustration that came from my childhood and the fact that I was born in Russia and I came to Australia. It was not really the easiest experience at the time. I couldn't speak the language. I felt that I couldn't communicate, I couldn't connect with people. We were on different wavelengths. So, and all of this was pushed down. I then started to become conscious of cellular memories, and I had never really understood what that was, but memories of childhood and home life, and the fact that my parents were constantly in conflict, and again, it was very difficult for them to be in a different country where they couldn't speak the language, where they didn't have money, so there was constant money issues. And for me, I really got that sense that I didn't feel supported. I didn't know what was happening. There was constant arguing at home, so it was as if both my digestive system and my back couldn't handle those experiences. And at the same time, I kept asking questions like, well, is there more? Is there more to this? And I got to a point where I understood that my grandparents as well had gone through the war. My grandmother had the most horrible experience of when she was 13, her mother was shot as her mother was helping her to get over the fence, to run away. She lost her 6 brothers and sisters who were younger than her. She survived on her own for 4 years in the forest and in just horrendous conditions. My grandfather, when he was 14, was taken to a camp in Siberia, which was just horrible work camp, and he lived there for 10 years until he was 24, and nobody knew in his family whether he was actually alive or not. So, and it was just atrocious. And then they didn't speak about it for 50 years because they felt that if they did, they could be killed. So all of this was stored in ancestral memories as well as cellular memories. And I also realized that I had this aspect of me that it was almost as if I have a sign on my head, and it says, if you have a problem, come and speak to me. And people always did. So I would take in their energy without knowing it, and then be in pain the next day. And I realized that I needed to let go of things that didn't belong to me and really work on the cellular memories, ancestral memories, and the fact that I would take people's energy on, as well as my emotions. And as this was happening, I was crying, I was feeling stuff, I was really saying to myself, I'm willing to let go, I'm willing to let go, and I fell asleep. And the next day when I woke up, the pain decreased by about 70%, my back was completely straight, and I knew that I had discovered something special, even though I was skeptical, because I was afraid that it was going to come back.
Yeah.
And so for the next 3 weeks, even though I really didn't know what I was doing, I just kept connecting to my body and accessing the wisdom of my body rather than my mind, and constantly focusing on letting go of the ideas that my mind had.
Yeah. Wow.
And by the end of 3 weeks, it was pretty incredible because my back I had no pain. My digestive problems improved probably around 90%. My skin was pretty clear. I felt very different. My anxiety went right down. So it was pretty incredible.
Amazing, amazing story, and so many powerful messages in there. It really isn't just, it never ceases to just amaze me at how much can manifest in our body. It can be such a reflection of what's happened in our life, and especially even, going back through the generations as well. I guess this is one of the biggest things I want to get across is, rather than living in such a disconnected way to your body, start to really understand that it can play a huge role in helping you to know what needs to be healed, and maybe what's not working in your life. It can be such a great tool for that, to make some good decisions. And obviously you have it was all meant to be, because you clearly have an amazing healer gift there, in the fact that you mentioned you really take on other people's energy. And I've really noticed that seems to be something very inherent in people who are just meant to be here to heal, help others to heal, facilitate others to heal. So really amazing stories, so much in there.